Good evening, good day, good night, and welcome to our 82nd podcast. Yes, ladies and folks and gentlemen out there, welcome to a lovely podcast to all our folks and friends and fans and haters. And on Twitter, on iTunes, on Podbean,
Why,
and
why are you talking so slow? Like you don't know where we are.
that's kind of like what it is. I kind of forget. I'm old. We're 82. We're 82 people.
I think we're more than 82, but okay.
Look. Obamacare is running out, so there's not much subsidies left for my old ass. And a special welcome, as always, to Nole fans out there. Podcast, which is entitled "Oh How Swell Was Indian Wells."
Oh, wow. I like that.
It's with the mostesses. I give them a huge shout out. Last podcast, or maybe just before, we had International Ladies Month. And I just want to recognize that these ladies are always internationally celebrated in my world every single day.
Aww.
We have Andreen from Solely Tennis Travel. And we have the Cato Kennel podcast, Janina Lavon from Foreign, Ohio.
Hello.
And if you're watching us on YouTube land, you will notice that there is a rather not so surreptitious picture of you're not on the wrong podcast. You're not in tennis podcast from old jolly old England. We have a special guest with us here this evening. We have from Twitter land, Peter. Hey girl.
Howdy. Reels, I need more energy. What's going on? Why you sound so sleepy? Upbeat, man. Let's just going.
It's his bedtime. That's why I called to see what's asleep.
You know what? This does sound a little bit different because last time we broadcasted in the daylight and now we're in the nighttime. So maybe that's
Lord, is this like podcast after dark?
Right?
Yes, this is podcast.
Twitter after dark. No.
You know what, Janina, you take over that bit. So before we get into we have invited Peter Guy from Twitterland because he apparently, since Murray lost in the second round of Indian Wells, he decided to fuck Indian Wells and decided to show up in Irving, Texas for Challenger Extraordinaire, the Scrubber International. Does it have a proper name, Peter?
Is the Irving Tennis Classic presented by BMW of Dallas.
Ooh. Not just any BMW.
That sounds fancy.
I know. And Peter, according to from your Twitter timeline, you were there all up in all the cracks and crevices every single day, enjoying it. And you had a wonderful time?
Oh, yes. I was the DJ. I was the DJ last year. And apparently they were like, can you be the announcer as well? And I was very hesitant about that, but
so
yes, I was.
Let's hear your announcer voice. Come on.
Yeah.
Again.
So pretend it's two scrub. It's Sergei Sirkovsky versus Bonachurich. How would you announce these two players?
We have Sergei Sirkovsky on one side of the net, and we've got Bonachurich on the other side, etc., etc. So yeah.
That sounds really professional. I think that guy Andrew, Krasny, I don't know his name, Andrew.
Watch out.
Yes, watch out, Andrew. Peter's coming for your wig. He got my vote. I saw that for me, I saw a lot of like players that I usually see on the regular circuit showed up there, and is it like I saw Bonachurich there, I saw Kushkin, I think pronounce his name, Mikhail, I saw Kukushkin, thank you, you're the announcer. And so is this like a really good tournament to show up if you can't make it to Indian Wells? I mean, it's in Texas after all, but
Well, I mean, it's in Dallas, Irving, yes. But it's pretty much a stopover from Indian Wells to Miami. So they basically have a loaded draw every single year. It's top 50 to 100. A lot of guys coming back from injuries. So, of course, Borna was there this year. And so it's such a great tournament. I love going there. I've gone there for the past 3 years. The top seed was Marcel Grenollers, but sadly he lost. So
as he's expected to do always.
I call him granola bar because he's just too granola for me. So yeah. And so
does that mean he's boring?
Yeah, just a little boring. He's just a little basic to me.
But what's the experience like if you're a fan and you show up at Irving, Texas? You got lost somewhere, and you're like, hey, what's going on here? I see some people that I know are here, and hey.
The experience this year, it was a much bigger crowd. There were so many young Americans coming up, and I loved it. Francis Tiafoe was there. Tommy Paul was there. I mean, it was just such a great draw. Of course, with Borna being there, that was great. Karen Kachanov was there. There's just so many guys that I was like, wow. I mean, we've got a lot. Verdasco was supposed to be at the Irving Tennis Classic, but apparently had to win a few more matches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would have actually been really nice though.
Yeah.
To have
I
Verdasco
really like
in the
Bieber.
So I'm looking at you know what? I'm looking at the draw here.
Well,
I'm looking at the draw. It's really solid. You're not joking. I mean, these are very recognizable names. I mean, the other person that he didn't mention that was there is your favorite, Tim Smichik was there.
Did he get rid of his porn stash?
He had facial hair, yes.
Yeah, and you know what though? Honest to goodness, this list, strangely enough, this list looks like it could be like, that tournament that they're going to have in Milan at the end of the year with the under 21-year-olds, I guess it is.
Yeah, ATP Next Gen, I think it's called.
The Next Gen group. I mean, this could easily be like a next gen list. Like, it's really funny how that is, because if you look at it, it's like these are people whose names I recognize. And then, look who ended up in the final. I wouldn't have picked that out of that group.
Yeah, I would not have picked Kukushkin, but Aliyesh Bedene, he won in 2015, and he was last year's runner-up. So he likes the court. So
he was back again this year. He was also the finalist again. Yeah.
What are the courts like there?
As in like the speed, I have no clue.
Does it seem to play? Does it seem to like favor a certain type of style though? Were people grinding out points, or did it feel like things were going faster?
Things were going a whole lot faster. Dustin Brown, of course, his serving was great. Yeah, it seemed pretty fast, I would say, I guess. And there was Jared Donaldson that hit hard too. I think it's just, medium level. I saw a whole entire graphic of all the different Masters tournaments that have their speed. And Indian Wells is apparently one of the slowest, which is understandable for Andy. So anyway,
you gotta get that dig in, don't you? Huh?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So,
but this is kind of cool though. Look at this. Like I'm checking out the ticket types. You can get a 3-day pass Tuesday to Thursday for $20.
Ooh,
that's what I was about to ask. Ooh.
And
wait, you gotta qualify for this scrub.
No, listen. And if you take the whole week, it's $40, guys. We should make. Yes.
Yep.
Tuesday to Sunday.
Oh my God.
Don't laugh. Tuesday to Sunday. That's $40.
That's awesome.
When Federer retired, I'm gonna be there. Okay. When Federer retired, Federer playing Indian Wells, I'll be there.
Okay, just for a little perspective here, right? If you take a look at this draw right now, this is like honestly the first week
at 250.
Not even a 250 of a slam. Of a slam.
Yeah.
First week of a slam, like with all the side courts. These are matches that are going on on very outside courts. So if you think about that and translate that into going and watching this group of guys for a week and paying only $40, that's real value for your money.
Oh yeah.
And you can also think of it like a 250 if the big boys in the shop trying to be greedy.
Well, that's true too.
Because this is a 250 right here. Because
so
did you see that match between Bona Chorich and Dustin Brown?
Yes.
When was it the match when Bonachurch lost his fucking mind and just like, oh, that was at Indian Wells?
No, he I guess didn't do too well on a call. And so yeah, poor little kid just got a little mad.
Well, you know what? He's following in his idol's footsteps, no?
They're from the same region, right? What did Chrissy say? People in that region of the world ain't.
Listen, don't repeat Chrissy's racism.
Apparently, people think Chrissy got all kind of credibility now. How is that?
Let's be better. Let's be better than Chrissy and not group people together by region.
Listen, I mean, we got to hear about the serious stuff, Peter. So you were the DJ. When you're picking songs and you're lining shit up, are you trying to be shady? Are you trying to make your song match the players on court?
And more importantly, Peter, do you not have Coldplay in your fucking playlist?
Well,
if you have Coldplay.
Sorry. I tried to play Pat Benatar's "Hit Me with Your Best Shot" as much as possible.
That would have been
My
great.
friend was like, "Please stop playing that." I played "My House" from Florida for Tim Smichek. He got married at the Four Seasons Resort and Spa, where it's located.
Okay.
So yeah, it's definitely.
Wait.
Also,
we talked about a gong.
We talked about it. Well, the other thing
that's
too
a
is
trigger for Andy Murray fans.
I know.
And plus, you're an Asian guy. I'm sorry. I keep doing this.
No, it's okay.
Peter,
okay.
do the players put in a request? Can the players request songs to you?
The players can definitely put in a request. One of the umpires, who's Australian, he put in a request for U2 and
cool.
In excess, and they put in the original Sin. And I was like,
what are you trying to tell us?
Exactly. I don't remember how that sounded. And when I played that during a changeover, I was like, no. I just looked at him. He was smiling, gave me a thumbs up. I'm like, no, that's so wrong. No. Let's not do that.
Do they pay you for your services?
It was all volunteer for me. So,
damn.
Okay, guys.
Do you get free food?
Okay, you know what we could do? We can also if we all got together and put together $5,000 in a pot, we could be the signature sponsor of this event.
Hell yeah!
What?
That would have been fun.
Yeah, then we could do it all. We get food. We get 4 VIP tickets. We get to attend the doubles clinic. We attend the ladies' luncheon. We get our names on banners and signage. Listen, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. Let's do it.
Make it happen, Peter.
Wait a minute.
You got the end.
$5,000. Wait. For $5,000, I could be smooching with Tim Smichek?
Yes.
So, did you have much player interaction at all?
No.
I know you were, shying away from people. Did you talk to anybody?
Oh, yes. I talked with Aliesh the most because, I back the Brits, as a few people know. And I talked with Samir Gabashvili for a little bit, and Dustin Brown.
Doesn't he look like an Oompa Loompa? Am I wrong?
Who? I'm sorry.
Gabashvili. Doesn't he look like an Oompa Loompa?
No.
I wouldn't consider him. Yeah, no. He's tall.
So, who's an asshole? Who's really nice? Who's funny? Who do you expect to be great and is just a total fucking dud?
Well, Lucas Rizal was there, and so he's always known as a nice guy.
Is he now?
Jared Donaldson, on the other hand, he kept on saying thank you to all of the ball kids every time he got a ball. So
that's nice.
I think he's a great American. He's coming up, and he's doing well for himself.
Ooh.
No one's an asshole? You don't want to out anyone?
Lucas.
He wants his job back next year.
I just don't like Lucas.
Why
Is it because your boy don't like Lucas?
Wait, why don't you like Lucas? Because
I think.
Go ahead.
I think his demeanor on the court just seems to put a lot of people off. I'm more of a fan for Rafa and a few other guys, and so just the way he reacts is just not classy.
So you're taking it personal because he's kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, because those are the only guys that beat Rafa. Let me tell you,
got your number, buddy.
Those are the only ones that beat Rafa. He got in Rafa's head.
Oh yeah,
and that's hard to do.
I bet you, Peter. But I wonder if Lucas Rosal was a blonde-haired girl and named Coconut. If he would have been thinking about this being brash, we wouldn't have been like, "It's his confident American."
I asked about Coco. Craig Carden was the announcer for Sunday, and he was like, "Coco's doing well," and I kind of wanted to ask a few more questions, just to see how rude she really is. But yeah, Coco is a mess. I'll say that. I'm trying to be nice, y'all.
Why? We're not nice here.
This is true.
So this is about like one of the biggest tennis tournaments in Texas, I'm assuming, right?
Yes. There was the Dallas championship or something that I barely knew about that happened right after the Australian Open. And I actually went up there and I saw Francis Tiafoe play doubles with Ryan Harrison. And Ryan actually won that tournament, and then he won Memphis. So, yeah.
Do you know the prize money for? Do you know the prize money for this tournament? It's like a field like this.
The financial commitment is $150,000.
Wow, so it's not very much when you think about how that's split out, right?
Yeah, it looks like the winner gets $21,000.
No, I mean, not bad. Look, $21,000 is not bad for a week's work.
Yeah,
no.
For a challenger, when I was looking at the other draws and everything, like our draw is a whole lot better, and the prize money, as you can see from the app, and everything, like it's much better.
Like the challenger they can't have $1 million challenger because that would be more than like a 250, and then that would be problem.
Right.
Yeah.
But seriously, guys, the doubles winner, they got to split that between the two of them, and they got to split $9,000. That ain't right.
No, that's wrong.
Well, you know what? I mean, like we're looking at it that way, but when you consider that there is nothing for these people to do, because most of these guys showed up in Indian Wells and lost early. So, as Peter pointed out, it's a stopover. So when you consider you're practicing and you can make some extra money on the way,
get some match play.
It's like free. It's like paid practice, because what would you have been doing?
Oh my God, guys! Philip Petchner is still playing tennis. He's German.
Damn. Yes, he's still playing.
Oh, but now just exclusively doubles, right? The one thing to remember about Philip Petchner was playing. Wasn't he playing Rafa Nadal on Wimbledon? Wacky times back in the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Damn it. No, he was a good player. He couldn't control his forehand. That's what I remember.
This is true.
The thing right now of Philip Petchner is that used to play doubles with Jürgen Melzer, and you've never seen two more petulant boys on a tennis court. I mean, you were like, are these grown men? Are they like 5-year-olds? Like, oh, I don't know how they survived that partnership, but just saying. Peter, we want to thank you for telling us all about Irving. Just one more thing. How is the food there, Peter?
The food was pretty good. I ate a few times at the little restaurant that they have inside the Four Seasons, and so that was good.
Okay.
Do people stay at the Four Seasons, or do you think people stay at guests as guests of people's homes and stuff? Is that what you think?
I think what I've seen is almost all of the tennis players staying at the Four Seasons.
Ooh.
Yes.
So see, that's a nice trip, guys. Staying at the Four Seasons.
I'm telling you, people, next year, fans, we're gonna have a GoFundMe for $5,000. The Reels can get up.
Send the Reels crew to Dallas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Janina and Andreen can come along too.
Thanks.
Yeah. Or basically, we're just inviting ourselves to Peter's house. Peter, how far away is it from where you live?
I live near Austin, so that's a little far.
Oh, so
you stayed in?
Yeah.
You stayed in the area?
Yeah, I stayed with my best friend from college.
Oh, how fantastic!
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they couldn't even comp your hotel. You're gonna be the DJ and everything.
We got to work on this, Peter. We got to get you some leverage.
Yeah, some perks.
You need an agent.
And I mean, like, you can get in there, and then you know what you can do next year. Here's the advantage for you, Peter.
Oh Lord!
So next year you can broke a peace between Lucas Rosal and Andy Murray. Think of the publicity that will get. I mean,
and Sergei Stakhovsky. I'm sure that'll work out well.
Yeah,
we fix Sergey. We fix Sergey for everybody. So Sergey is on the good list. Nobody be coming for Sergey on my watch. Nobody. I'm telling you. I'm grabbing all wigs.
You got to deal with. Listen. Do you notice how I haven't heard Andy Murray say a peep now that he's on the Players Council? What's Andy got to say now that he's finally opened up the books and see what's going on in there? I need to know, Andy. Tell me more now. Right? Actually, that's actually kind of noteworthy. We haven't heard Andy Murray talk about his role on the Players Council yet. What he's discovered. What he's observed.
Well, they'll meet next at Wimbledon, so maybe he'll say something.
French Open, no?
Oh, the French Open.
I thought they meet at every.
Isn't every Grand Slam?
But there's a mandatory meeting in Australia. There's a mandatory meeting in Australia, but I think they try to meet at every major.
Okay.
It's optional, I think, if you want to show up at the majors. If you want to shop at the other majors or the other meeting, but in Australia you must be present because I think that's when they vote whenever the annual voting, whatever happens. But every 2 years.
Well, I'm curious to see what's going to come from that. So what before Peter leaves though, can we talk a little bit about Andy for you, Peter? So what was the news? I was out of the circulation for a while. What's the news about Andy and his injury? What's going on?
Apparently it's his right arm as well. Stan was practicing with him in Dubai, and Federer mentioned that as well, that his right arm just wasn't feeling well when he was hitting. Obviously, he was good enough, and it was great to have a win in Dubai, but sadly...
So he's been carrying this injury for quite some time.
Apparently, yeah. I just found out about it.
Is it related? Is this at all related to the shingles or no?
I would
no.
Not.
Well, listen, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Listen, I don't know.
This is basically a rash.
Oh my god.
Listen, I just wanted to make sure that these aren't like co-issues.
You see, as I have said, I know the Nole fam say we keep coming for their boy, but the record would show. It's not alternative fact.
No, listen.
Andy Murray gets his life.
I'm using fancy terms. I just wanted to make sure this wasn't like a comorbidity, which is the presence of two challenging issues. So I was trying to So when I heard it, I thought like, okay,
Peter, get her, Peter.
I'm not even. Oh my god! You know my shade is so subtle. You don't even know when I'm shading, and when
this
I'm
is
not
true.
shading, I'm not shading. I'm actually asking.
Peter, get her. I won't stand for it. This is our first bona fide Andy Murray fan on our show. Okay, is it? Okay. I'm absolutely sure this is true. So we have to treat it. You know.
No.
Your boy is
no because we had Courtney on the show. So
is she an Andy Murray fan?
Andy, Courtney appreciates Andy Murray as a wonderful, stellar person.
Should appreciate Andy.
Oh, Jesus.
But apparently, someone doesn't on this podcast. So yeah, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
I'll give you more pictures of Andy if you want, Andreen.
Okay,
all right.
You've told me. So where's the next time we're going to see you live, Peter? Where are you making yourself known? Where else are you heading on your tennis travels?
I'm definitely going to Cincy this year. This is my first time in Cincy. And so Janina and I will hang out.
Janina, pop his cherry.
Oh my god.
Tell him, Andreen. He has no idea.
Get ready.
We talked about getting a few drinks and then,
Don't let her get you Coors Light, okay? And watch out for her those chicken wings.
Poor Tony. No matter what happens, Tony gets screwed on the podcast.
No, I love me some Tony. I love me some Tony. Don't be saying
this
anything.
This is going to be great. You know what? I have to say Cincinnati is a great tournament. It continues to have its own charm, which it hasn't been completely killed yet. I suspect it will in about 5 years become like a charmless dud, like a lot of tournaments where they're just like corporate, become too corporate. Yeah. But this still feels very homey. And so you're going to have a really good time. And everyone should be there. Andy should be there because if he's not in Cincy, that will make everyone nervous for the U.S. Open, you know? So I would assume that he will make his appearance back on tour.
I hope so. If not, I'm canceling my plans.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Then who is Janina gonna be scoping out Sarah Ronnie with? You know, looking at her cankles.
Sarah Ronnie?
Sarah Ronnie won't make it this year.
Yeah, probably not.
She and her cankles will not be in Cincinnati.
Oh my god!
And if they are, they'll be qualies losing.
You know what? But somebody gotta go protect Kuznetsov from her, because you know, like. But you know, thank you. So Peter, so the final recommendation that people, if you're in the area, Texas, you know, and you should definitely check into this Irving Classic.
It's great.
Yeah, the draw's always great. I mean, I sat next to Taylor Dent last year. John Michael Gamble was here coaching Jared Donaldson.
Did you get his number? Did you get Janny's number?
No,
did you pinch his nipple?
I got pictures.
His nipples. Oh.
Dear Lord.
Yeah.
You missed out on Jan's nipples.
Work your way up. Work your way up, Reels.
This could be my hunting ground.
Oh my god. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm telling you, honest to goodness, I feel like I need to sell this tournament. I'm looking at the list of names, and to be honest, it is amazing how many of the names we actually recognize. And I can't say that of other places.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always great.
And you know what? Hold on. WTA, you need to get something like this because you know what? I'm not even trying to be shady here, though. WTA's got a lot of flack. When y'all have your 125K event, their list don't look like this at all.
No.
It doesn't look this at all. I mean, it's only Yelena Yankovic be going up and trying to steal something, and
oh my god.
You know what? This might be like the tournament that they have in Carson on the WTA side in terms of name recognition. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. But yes, this was great. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Peter, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming and
for having me.
And we didn't bite your head off, and it's okay to be a not Federer fan here.
And don't you worry. Come August, when we're in Cincinnati, recording from there, if you're a good boy, I'll let you come back.
Ooh, I'll be a good boy.
Okay.
I think you might be drunk. You might be a drunken good boy, but that's the way it rolls in Cincy. That's how they do it there.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, good night, and tell all your friends about us.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
So, lady.
You know what? Straight up, that sounds like a really pleasant place. And you know what? I might actually go for a weekend because, usually I don't stay for finals weekends at the tournament because what's the point? It's the only thing on TV. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about seeing everything. But this is actually not a bad little tournament to show up to. It's like a quick trip. I wonder what this is the kind of thing where you could probably drive to it from LA.
Yeah. Andreen, do you drive?
And now feel it. I do, but I didn't.
Do you drive, Andreen, or are you driven?
I have a license, and that means I can drive.
What? That means never get in the car with Andreen. People that say I have a license.
You know what? It's true. No, you know what's so funny? I got my license because I was doing this wacky thing for a while, where I had to drive around the country and tell people about religious movies. So I've never actually driven in California, but I've driven the hell into Birmingham, Alabama.
You know what? I drive every day of my life, and I've been to California multiple times.
Janina,
and there ain't no way in hell I'm driving in California. That shit is scary.
No.
It is. It's a special. It takes a special.
Listen, Reels, you don't drive. You don't get to have a part of this conversation. You don't know how to drive.
Janina, that was not even the most important bit that was even said here a while ago. But you know what? I'm going to say that. I'm gonna say that little tidbit for another podcast. You know what?
Okay.
For the stepchild podcast.
Okay.
What was your life?
What was I doing?
You know what?
Yes.
Yes. We had a moment.
This is not the time.
I've done many things in my life. If you have an interest, we'll have to meet up at a tournament and we can talk about it.
With adult beverages. But anyway, ladies, you know what?
Ace is over ice.
You know what? And when we go to Irving, Texas, we got to show up with $6,000 because I can't be doing with the players. I need to be VIP access.
Well, you know what we could do? We could also lowball it a little bit and go not entirely for the signature one, but we can go for the supporting sponsor, which is $2,500, which gives us all the things I really want, which is the food, the VIP ticket, and the special offer. All the other stuff I don't need.
Sweet.
But we can go and put our names on the stuff for Reels Tennis Podcast.
But guys,
the
this
logo,
was great.
banners,
That sounds like a really good experience. I have to say I'm pretty impressed by that. This is a nice look.
Because I mean, like I was looking at
anytime you can go to tennis for $40 for a week. I mean, it's got to be good, right?
We got to rent a house. We're Airbnb-ing. And we're going
exactly.
Okay, this is it. This is it. It's a real tennis fan meetup in Irving, Texas. Right? You can get to it, right? Reels, you can get to it. I can get to it.
I don't know if we might come back on alive, but hey.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to ask how many black people are there.
Honey, probably not much. It was the Four Seasons.
Dustin Brown.
You know, I mean, I was schoolboarding it, and I was seeing.
How was the audience? How did the audience look?
I saw his pictures, and I was like, wait, is he in Indian Wells? Because didn't I just see Bona play yesterday?
But you know, that's what it is. They lose like the first round because of the nature of the way the time is. And it really is situated right in the middle of second week. If you lose in the first early rounds, you can immediately shift over into Irving.
Yeah.
Because the tournament's a week and a half. So many of these players, I was surprised to see them there because Horacio Zeballos, I watched him lose to Nick Kyrgios. So after losing to Nick Kyrgios, he packed up his bag and then went to this tournament, which is kind of amazing.
Oh,
sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Struggles of a journeyman.
So again, thanks, Peter. And let's talk about Indian Wells. What did you love? What did you hate? What was good? What was bad? What was ugly?
Well, I have a love-hate relationship with Indian Wells. Actually, I have a hate. I shouldn't say love. Love is such a strong word. I had a hate relationship with Indian Wells. I mean, I'm one of those people who just never forget in which they handled the Vesnina debacle, and it just always seems so overwhelmingly corporate. It just seemed like dry.
It is.
No joy. Like Miami just seemed a little bit more fun and more exciting, I guess. Maybe the 3-hour time difference made a problem because the evening matches were like 11 o'clock, whatever. But I thought this year was okay. I don't know if it was publicity or because I can watch it. I could turn on my television and watch it, right? Yeah. So that probably made a difference in my world. And much of the commentary, I had no commentary. I was just getting matches without all of the bullshit. But I thought it was a very solid week and a half. Everyone, I mean, like from yesterday's results, everybody was thanking the sponsors and the ball boys and everybody else. I mean, they thanked everybody, Tommy Haas. So, I mean, the players loved it. So I can't really complain if the players love it and enjoying themselves. So, because my issue is always, do I think the players are getting, feeling comfortable and having a good time and, and they all seem to enjoy themselves out there despite it being hot and dry. So, I thought I put on a good thing this year, not just because of Federer. I thought the WTA could be proud of, some of the results that were there.
I will say, though, for the tournament, because I went for the weekend and then I ended up going back midweek. And I think one of the things that I think is interesting to think about for a tournament is that a tournament for a player and a tournament for a spectator are two different things.
Right.
What makes a tournament really enjoyable for players is all the things that might, in some sense, become problematic for you as a spectator, right? In the sense that, the players may be chauffeured around. They feel like they have exclusive access to certain spaces. They're treated like, it seems to me that this place has money flowing out of its ass. Every orifice has money out of it. So it seems like they're able to really expand and create a lot of creature comforts for the players, which I'm all about. But I think one of the things I have to say about the tournament is that I feel like when you go to the tournament, they are really spending a lot on the very high levels and not on the low level. They're creating these really great experiences for people who already have money and who have access to the players in these and have access to a good experience. You know, the restaurants are expensive, nice food, all of that. That's great. But for me, I think that a real special tournament is the tournament that can make the everyday fan who's not plopping down hundreds and thousands of dollars enjoy and feel like they're getting a real bang for their buck. And do I feel like that's happening at Indian Wells? I don't really know. I don't think so. I don't get that sense. I feel like there are many moments where the tournament could do a better job of making sure that it's a special experience for the person who comes for like a single day to enjoy the tennis out in the sun and to feel like you have access to the players. I think in some ways, you know how in Cincinnati you feel like you have real access to the players? You know, they're passing by you, you can see them. That's kind of dissipating a little bit at Indian Wells partly because you know what, it is just massively crowded now. The tournament has just grown by leaps and bounds, and it's becoming the thing that I know reels will hate. It actually feels like the US Open.
Oh, which she's trying to say that more people are there just to be in the space and they're not actually watching tennis matches. So you know, any moment of the day when you go to the US Open, what is going to happen? People are in a bar, right, just outside Arthur Ashe, watching the match. And they have a ticket for Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Well, and you know what? That's, you know, Janine, I don't know. I don't go to a lot of different sporting events. And I think we've talked about this in the past. Like you talk about how, like, I don't know. Is that how it feels like with other events, like with like basketball? Or do people go for the basketball or do they go to be in the space? Like you're going for the game, right?
I think that, well, you have to figure too, like at a basketball game or a baseball game. Event. It's a single event. So you're going because you love the sport, you love the teams, you love a player, you want to see history, you know, you want to see Kobe, you want to see LeBron, you want to see Steph Curry. So you've got one shot. So you're not going to go to a Cavs game and not go in the arena. Like you may, but here's the difference. And you don't see this so much at tennis. I know that like at the big tournaments, they do have enclosed spaces, loges. You always have that at a basketball game or a football game. However, it's embedded in the stadium. So you're right there. You're not really closed off from people so much. You know, and the perks of that are you pay more for a ticket and you get, you know, all the drinks you want, all the food that you want, but you're still there very much to be a part of the crowd. You're not just hanging out.
You know what? And it's interesting because I think that that's definitely maybe, I don't know, other sports, maybe, but tennis, it's very unique to tennis to me that you can actually really go to a tennis tournament and possibly not see any tennis.
Right. Yeah. That's not happening if you go to football or baseball or basketball.
Because there's no other reason for you to be there, which is why in many ways this is a lifestyle sport. And that connotes all that means, right? That suggests everything in calling it a lifestyle sport because it's about like shopping around the grounds for the outfits because people are shopping for outfits because they play tennis. You know what I mean?
And you have to remember too that you can go to a tennis tournament.
Hold on. Let me just give a caveat here. Not a caveat, you know, just men and women, particular ladies, stop wearing fucking tennis outfits at tennis events.
You know what? I know that's a pet peeve of people, but I don't understand why because they actually play at the tournament. Some of the people who are there dressed in tennis outfits, they actually will be playing because some of the courts in the second week, they have these like local tournaments that play there.
Not at the US Open.
This is okay. Not at the US Open. No, obviously that's a slam, but I'm talking about at the tennis garden. This is an actual club experience.
Because it's an actual club, yes. I get what you're saying.
Well, I don't know if it's an actual club, but people actually do use it for that. So when people, I hear that all the time, and people are always like, "Why are you wearing?" But I'm like, tennis is actually for people who play tennis. That's one of the things that's really unique about this sport.
When we go, but you know what? Nobody bitches when you go to a basketball game and everybody's wearing a jersey.
And see people in basketball. Exactly.
No, they're wearing a jersey. They're wearing. Wait, hold up. Distinction. They're wearing a jersey. No one comes out in a full hockey kit. No one comes out in a LeBron shirt.
No one's wearing pads, football pads.
Okay, but you know what? But that's the thing,
exactly.
But that's the thing.
No, they don't.
But tennis doesn't require much. All tennis requires
and they're wearing it in support of. But they're wearing it in support. But tennis doesn't have
You know what?
Well, I think with Federer, in Federer event now, on Federer and Nike marketed. You have a Federer t-shirt, right? You have a Fed t-shirt. You have a Stan Animal shirt, or whatever the case may be. I don't mind that. I mean, the skirts, ladies.
I don't understand why you all have a problem with people dressing like they're going to play tennis at tournaments. Girl, that's why they're there.
It's just not hot when you see a grandmother in tennis skirt.
Why?
A mini skirt at that.
Why?
Because their skin is sagging.
Why you got a problem with people's skin sagging? Get over it. Skin sag.
It's not even about the skin sagging. Look. Just hear me out here. I'm just saying.
What happened to this conversation?
I am at this event and I'm watching some incredible
athletes. I'm gonna pause it and table it. Let's just keep going. Let's move forward. No. All right. I'm gonna leave you with your.
So moving forward, one thing I did want to add though, because you said, you both mentioned how you can go to tennis and never watch any tennis, and the thing that makes tennis unique in that aspect, you can buy a grounds pass.
Yep.
Right.
I was about to ask that question.
You can buy a grounds pass and know that you're never going on center court. That you have the option of going other places. So maybe you do want the experience. You're not buying a grounds pass to a football game or a basketball game or a baseball game. You can't. It's not an option.
It's spread out. The nature of tennis it's spread out.
Okay, can I tell you? I'm gonna give you one little story that happened to me in line. So on the weekend, Saturday, it's massively crowded, and so after you park, there is a line to get in. And the reason why the line exists is because they were checking bags, and you had to go through the airport thing, that machine, for your safety. But of course, whenever people bitch and moan because there's always a line, and then if something happens, everybody's like, well, you know what? There wasn't a line to get in. They weren't checking bags, So you win for losing. So anyway, the line's a bit long, but it's actually moving quite fast. So it's like maybe 15 minutes. I got there, the line was out to the parking lot. I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna take forever. But no, they were actually moving people through pretty quickly. But no joke, somebody right next to me bitched and complained the entire 15 minutes. And he was like, this is not what I paid my money for. So of course, I turned to him and I said, listen, you have been bitching and moaning for the last 15 minutes. And it moved swiftly. It moved swiftly. And he's like,
I didn't pay my money for this.
Yeah, that's what he said. And he was like, you know what? Maybe you're okay with losing time. I was like, what were you going to be doing? It's 15 minutes. And he's like, I'm sure these people have grounds passes. I paid $200. I shouldn't have to stand there with them.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You and your fucking privilege.
I was like, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, on what planet do people now believe that they have the right to not stand in line for anything? The only way you never stand in line is if you're being constantly served. That's the only way you're going to avoid a line. Do you know what I mean? Because how is it possible for you to go someplace with
even the players have to go through security check? They can't lose that badge that they wear around their neck. They can't lose that.
But see, that was the attitude. And no joke, there was another person behind me. It was a father and a son. And I swear to God, the son was probably 15, and he said the same thing to his dad. He's like, Daddy, didn't we pay enough so we didn't have to wait in line?
But let me tell you something here. This is interesting because you know what? There are instances where you don't have to wait in line and you can pay your way through line. And the one example I can give you is an amusement park.
Cedar Point, those
one
fast
of the biggest amusement parks in the entire world. You can pay extra to jump the line.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm just like, really? Because growing up in Ohio, I don't live far from Cedar Point. That was a like yearly trip. That's what families do. You know, that's where you go over the summer. You've got that yearly trip to Cedar Point. That was part of the experience, waiting in line. Holy shit. I had to wait 3 hours to get on the new roller coaster, you know? Yeah. And now you've got these people who they're like, oh, well, you know what? We paid an extra $250.
No,
so now you got to
sorry.
wait 4 hours. But that's what's happening. People are buying their fucking way into everything.
Hold on a second. Janine, Andreen, I just want to ask a question. Does that same feeling that you get at US Open and now you're getting at Indian Wells, does it occur when it's an indoor event? Because I wonder, because it's an outdoor event, does that change the nature of tennis, that multiple matches must have to be going on at the same time? Because we can't concentrate the effort, right? It isn't like a gymnastic event where multiple events can be happening in the same space.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think
the same.
It's a different. I mean, listen, it's hard to say because I mean the only other indoor event that I go to is like the World Tour Finals, and people are not. Yeah,
Basel.
Yeah, in Basel. Yeah, you can come and hang around, but why would you? You're not because actually the hang around space is free. So you can come and hang around, but once you pay your ticket, you're entering and you're watching tennis. That's the only choice you have. There will be people that hang out at the O2 Arena. They just come around just to see and play the games, and they don't enter. So it doesn't cost them anything. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, I'm going to travel down there and check out some stuff and maybe see some players practice. And that's actually all free because it's just a space. But once you pay your money, you're obviously paying your money for a seat and you're going in and you're watching.
I see what you're saying.
But yeah, you see what I mean? So, but the thing is, you know, listen, not to be grumbly about it, but I think one of the things that's really happening and one of the things that I notice about sport and about good experiences is that people are so willing to pay money to have a certain type of experience. And I'm fine with that. But part of the experience is being in companionship with other people, right? You're paying to you're paying to have access to be away from other people. It just seems weird to me. It seems like that's what's happening. It is weird. And so and of course a business person loves that, because if you're willing to plop down money to not have an experience, that means that we're going to be having gated entrances and you pay extra to get through.
Well, I don't, again, you see, this is what I find really interesting about those people, because they're not slowing you up to actually watch a tennis. They're slowing you up to check your bag, because y'all were going all about terrorists, et cetera. That's what they're checking for.
But and if a terrorist attack happened, they'd be pissed. Do you see what I mean?
Exactly.
But nonetheless, but it was just really petty, and it was just sort of like a representation of some of the elements. But not to say, of course, when you plop down in your seat and you're actually watching the tennis, that's always good. But it's the things that surround it that become slightly problematic. So you know, it was just a little bit.
I know that feeling. So, ladies, anyway, let's get to the actual tennis. So, Indian Wells, kind of like, let's see with the ladies first. So, the ladies suffered a blow because, you know, I think Indian Wells has been kind of like struggling for a fair amount. They had this big, huge hype up with Serena. And, you know, in her return in 2015, she got to the semis and then pulled out. 16, she got to the finals and lost. And this time she just was like, you know, I'm going back to the old narrative. Just don't show up at all. So they sort of like had that. She was the number one player. She came in to win in Australian Open. So they sort of like, I don't know. And then they don't have Maria Sharapova. Apparently WTA is trying to tell us Maria is. The WTA needs Maria. So the WTA was like, by their own definition, they were like on two legs instead of standing firmly on four. And then, you know, the next can we call them next gen, I guess? Muguruza.
No, they're not next gen. What was the term for those women? They had a term.
Rising stars?
Yeah.
Rising stars. They're rising.
It faded quickly, just like most of them.
I just call them candles in the wind, but hey, you know.
You know, and I had a theory about that, because I always thought that rising stars was a weird term to use for athletes. Because next gen, it doesn't say anything about their star power or any of that.
Right.
Stuff. It's just very
no,
general.
You're right. I never thought of it that way.
Exactly.
But Rising Star, it's like, here is your star. Like, no,
Yeah.
your next something.
And I mean, Angelique Kerber has shown us that you can rise to number one. You could win slams and not be a star.
Exactly. So, does that sound harsh? But maybe.
Well, anyway. It's the truth. I mean, I don't say that to sound harsh. It's just the truth. I mean, and look at Andy Murray. We forget that he's number one in the world.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have that star power. Those are facts. That's not, that's not shady. It just is. Look at Novak. He doesn't have that star power. You don't get to, the fans determine who the stars are going to be, not the organization.
Well, the marketing power too, but
No, I mean, Nole's been trying to buy the love.
Well, but
so wait. But let's stay on the WTA a little bit though. Did you guys have the sense that this was like a subpar WTA tournament or no? What? Because that's how you started this out, Reels, by saying.
Well, I mean, for me, like again, I thought you had major elements there. You had the players who were supposed to be like, on paper, they're supposed to be solid, right? But to me, one of the most standout performances, which could have been going somewhere, was Venus Williams. And again, I'm not just even talking about Venus. We have old women leading the charge. It was 2 30-something-year-old in the finals.
Well,
no, am I wrong?
For me, for the women,
Kuzi's 30 plus, right?
She's 30. The problem for me,
she's
women,
30, and Vesnina is 30.
Yeah, and Venus is like 55. So. The problem was
okay, stop. I cannot let that stand because I know the Venus fans who are just won't have it. They don't even let me call it Granny V.
It's okay because we want to hear Janina's point. What's your point, Janina?
Venus should have won. She should have won her match. Kuznetsova should have won the final. I mean, you know what? Good on you, Vesnina. Good on you. Well done. But especially Kuznetsova, she lost. Vesnina didn't snatch that shit away from her. Kuznetsova was up time and time again, and she lost it. It was her own stupid play, which is typical Svetlana. It's typical. I mean, I'm not surprised by it. Did you want to talk?
I might get myself Salisbury steak thingy.
We have a guest, and he's hungry. Okay, so yeah, apparently, yeah. Sorry, guess what, guys? I'm a mom for real. I don't lie about that. I know, right? First. But like she didn't. It was blah. You want to see somebody come through and feel like they took it, they earned it every step of the way. If for the most part, Vesnina did. But she had a few where you're just like, nah, girl, not sure you should have been here.
Yeah, I mean, she played solid. This was a solid week. But you know what? Indian Wells has become that weird place, right? I mean, like we had Panetta won that year. And I mean, I think one year Aga beat Maria surprisingly. So it can be a weird, reason. And I say weird, I don't mean like. I mean, it's supposed to be a surface that's supposed to favor the hard hitters, right? The true hardcore players, but somehow it seems to favor. It gets into people who just like survive and just can think. I mean, Serena lost lacklusterly to Brad.
But like, what's the critique? But what's the critique?
But to me, I mean,
it was boring. It was boring.
Like because I missed the final. So tell me,
the final was messy. The final was messy. Kuznetsova should have won the final. She was up in the second set. She was up in the third set, and she blew it. That's never fun to watch. It's never fun to watch a blowout, but you don't want to see the winner win because the other player blew it. Vesnina did not come like storming back and playing such good ball that Svetlana couldn't do anything with it. It was just sloppy. There were so many breaks, so many errors that it was just stupid. And it was more of, could somebody please just win so this is over?
Oh, was that the sentiment? Was that the sentiment that you felt like people were reacting to? Not so much the length of the final?
Yes, it was just sloppy.
Right, because you know what's funny is that the unfortunately this time for the finals I had ESPN commentating and Chrissy was all about placebo and she's throwing on every little Russian she knew, which unfortunately wasn't that. And you know they were just like,
but wait, what's your point?
They knew exactly what I was gonna watch.
Wait, what do you mean?
They were watching this match and knew that Kuzi was going to lose this match.
Okay,
they knew it. They knew that Pussy was gonna Kuzi was going to self-destruct.
Yeah.
Because that's what she does.
And for them, there was no real reason for this to happen because Kuzi has the tool, and there were points when she was showing that
he served for the match.
Exactly. For no apparent reason. I don't know why Kuzi was 50 feet behind the baseline. I don't know why.
I don't either.
Because Vesnina wasn't blowing her off the court.
No.
I mean, Kuzi's a fit girl, so it's not like she feels like she needs to run down every ball. There were good shots, there were good points.
It was stupid.
But you know what? It ended up in a third set for like no apparent reason.
So why were why were people complaining about the WTA final? What did people say something about it
it was long because it was
drawn out,
because it should have been over in 2 and Kuznetsova should have won. And I think a lot of it was just the fact that it was Kuznetsova and Vesnina.
What do you mean?
People don't know who they are. I think people know who Kuznetsova is because she's been around so long. But even though Vesnina, is 30 years old and been around a long time, people don't know her. Mm. People did not buy tickets to the Indian Wells final to watch Kuznetsova and Vesnina.
And that was apparent, and that was very much apparent when you looked in the stands.
Oh, did people not show up? They waited?
Yeah, people. I think there was a buzz around the field because it was scheduled like the women's finals. I think there would be 11 o'clock your time, and the men's final would be 1 o'clock.
Yeah, they expected 2 hours. Yeah,
2 hours, whatever. But that didn't happen, right? Because the men's final started probably
at
after
4,
2. I don't know.
It was at the airport. I was at the airport, so I think it was at 4.
No, it's late. It was later. It was late. It was late.
4:30.
It was like 5:30 here.
Yeah, so it could be like 2:30. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was a 3-hour match.
Yeah,
when the actual play started. So I think there was that buzz around the field that wasn't happening. Why this
bring
happening?
On the main event.
And I mean, and WTA. I know there is reason for you to be that some of the criticism is not okay, but you know what? I guess I say you got to do better.
Well, I mean, this is what I'm trying. This is what I'm trying to get at, guys. Though, like, I want to know. Usually, we break this stuff down, and I can't say it because I don't know. But like, what is logical and reasonable for people to have complained about? Because people complain about the
sloppy
WTA
tennis
all the time.
It wasn't final caliber tennis.
Okay, so that's a valid reason to complain.
To me, that's not even about it, really, because to me, the problem was before the match even started. It doesn't matter who was in the final, right? But neither one of these players. The WTA wasn't generating any kind of excitement or buzz. I mean, the problem was that the real buzz at the time was that Venus looked like she was playing very well.
Yeah, and then boom, their star was gone.
That's it. Because, I mean, like because Muguruza, Pliskova, these are not people who like get the crowd. Like they just seem to be those people at a party, be like, "Yay, party!" You know what I mean? But Venus was giving you joy in the press in the news and the encore interview.
Yeah.
I mean, probably she was American, but the WTA don't have any style who excited the crowd.
Mm. Well, I did see Bill Simon's tweet.
Oh God. Oh my God.
I mean, and that's, I think that's part of it too, that, that these women didn't really excited the crowd. They didn't come in with a buzz. When you have the tennis that's going on court wasn't quality enough to draw the people onto the court, like back into the stadium. Like it wasn't that kind of thing. We're like, oh my God, like it's an amazing match. Get to your seat quickly. It wasn't that. I mean, like Roger and Stan came out and they filled up because people not only kind of what they expected. But these people generated buzz. There's a sort of excitement at any one of these players.
And they got good tennis.
And they knew these people. And that's the other thing, too. Right? They can't complain. They know Stan and they know Roger.
So was it?
They know
where's the sexism? Was the sexism claim valid or no? Were people being dismissive just because they were ladies?
Like how it was Presented.
Aren't they
because,
always?
Because you know what, I'm gonna admit that I said, you know what, watching this women's match, I could kind of see why Maria opted for Maldonado. Very like wah. These girls needed a pick me up. I'm no tea, no shade. And I mean, like, and let's not forget that Maldonado had a mental edge to it, because you honest to God, you cannot explain why Kuzi. The forehand didn't break down, the backhand didn't break down. Just Kuzi, just mentally. It was just Kuzi was just like, you know what? I'm gonna give my friend a hookup here. I'm gonna give Vesnina a title. Like, I'm not saying that match fixing, but you know what? There's a term that I always say.
She was playing in the Indian Wells sign the whole fucking time. I'm yelling at my TV, Svetlana, move up. Why are you in the stands? Move the fuck up. Why are you playing back there? Because it wasn't like she was getting pushed back. She was just there. It made no sense.
I was thinking about the final and I was on my way home, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder if the WTA side has always sucked. In a weird way, how legitimate, and this is going to sound harsh, but how legitimate has the WTA at Indian Wells really ever been, when for years they never had the number 1 and number 2 American players in that draw? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Like, if you really think about it seriously, at the height of their powers, the top 2 American players were not playing in this major. I mean, we call it a Masters, but that's actually not even what the WTA calls it, which is so funny, right? Because we actually default to calling it what the men's tournament calls it.
Yep.
And that tells you a lot about that.
Again, WTA, fix that fucking system, okay? Mandatory premier this, color code that shit. Put some numbers on.
Keep up. We can't keep up with that shit. Karen, where are you when we need you? I still don't get it.
Honey, nobody keeps up. Well, no, because I was thinking about it, because I went online and I saw a bunch of like really negative things, and I saw Bill Simon's tweet about the women's looks, because of course, one of the things that people have to understand is that the reason why men, and I'm about to say something harsh, but the reason why white men even tolerate this sport is that they have to have something to look at. And that's why Bill Simons felt very comfortable putting that term, putting that label in his tweet about the pretty Russian, the this Russian, the that Russian. And he wasn't describing anything about their games. He was simply describing their appearance.
Exactly. And let me tell you something. And while we're on this,
go ahead. No, go ahead. No, I said, and ultimately that's the reason.
And I think this is one of the reasons why people don't give a fuck whatever Maria is doing. She could have been snorting coke and whatever. Because for white men, she looks like someone they would fuck.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And therefore, she's always invited to the party. Because once she's at the party and they're at that party, they feel in their mind they have a chance. And that's all they need.
Well, I mean, honestly,
they're not interested in...
That's actually how they eliminate... That's how people evaluate women in entertainment in general is how fuckable are you? And so part of what's been really, and that's why the WTA actually never suffered from failing to have it. You imagine if Indian Wells never had Roger Federer or Rafa Nadal at their tournament for 15 years. How seriously would anyone take that? Really, seriously. You don't have one or... No, but you seriously had the number 1 player for many years, as well, and also even, okay, maybe for many years she wasn't necessarily the number 1, but let's just say the number 1 and number 2 Americans at least. How seriously do you take your sport if you allow that to happen?
Yeah, so fix it.
You fix it, because obviously you are evaluating your sport not on actual achievement, but on something else. And so the rubber is meeting the road in Indian Wells, because Indian Wells cares about a few things on the women's side, and that is how blonde you are and how cute you look in your outfit, which is why you can have a legitimate reporter who covers that tournament evaluating the women on their looks. Because do you know what I mean? Like you would have needed your number 1 and your number 2 there all those years. So from my mind, when I see people enraged and upset right now, I'm like, but this is kind of like chickens coming home to roost. And exactly. You know what I mean? Like,
and this is the thing that gets me upset. I mean, like, you see, they're not listening, and then they don't want to, because you let this happen to yourself. WTA.
Yes, you did.
Because this is exactly what that whatever that guy from last year that Tommy Haas is taking over his job for. He said something, and we said the same thing. He was comfortable in saying this, and everybody got raged and upset, but nobody was looking at what he's saying. Right? We were complaining we couldn't find a WTA match. You cannot find a WTA match on ESPN for the most part. They were covering certain matches, and they're not much in the highlight reel for ESPN3. You can go back and watch replays. WTA matches is not in that thing. So if you missed a match, you couldn't get access to that. I could watch Stan and Nishikori or whatever. Nishikori, that's not his name, but you know that other guy he almost lost to?
Yoshi.
I could watch that match over and over again. But you know which match I don't have access to? Roger versus Nadal, because they know could sell that match. They could put that on some exclusive content somewhere. But let's be honest, none of the WTA women matches stood out. At least for me, in my mind. They didn't really stand out because WTA doesn't market itself properly. I'm going to use the word that the man used. They're literally kind of riding on the coattail of the man. Then, well, if it was
I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that. I don't think
WTA women was, if it was WTA, Indian Wells was like how it is at there's an event. Is it Rome? Where's
Shanghai.
Not Rome.
Shanghai is the only one that's on its own.
1 week and the other, like Dubai.
Shanghai, I mean, in terms of masters level, Shanghai doesn't know the system and the numbers. And Canada does it. The women are in one place and the men are in another.
Man, yeah, I don't know if it's going to be that successful. I don't know if it would have been that successful.
Listen, it has nothing to do with success, though. It's just about what each person requires. If you were able to host a tournament without your top two players for years, your tournament was not about the quality of play. That's not what it was about. If you are comfortable with that happening, that's the difference. Do you know what I mean? Like if you build your tour around performance on court versus performance off court, that's a different thing, and that's a different animal.
I mean, there's a reason why people were in an uproar about the posters.
Oh, well, you know what? Those people should have been mad when 50 people showed up to watch Kiki and Vesnina play semis. They should have been mad then. They weren't saying anything. Crickets.
Empty.
Crickets.
Well, anyway. But I just feel like I always wonder why we get upset about the wrong things. Like I got online and I was reading the usual stuff, and then I saw people say, well, you know, because we've been educated not to enjoy women's tennis and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, you know what? You have a responsibility to educate your audience about what's valuable, but you yourself value the showpiece.
Right.
So,
exactly. Because this is so true. Because look, WTA, in the midst of all of this, all the chat and whatever, y'all are promoting a doper, a performance enhancing girl.
That's because
you're saying your toe can't survive without her. All of the legends.
Oh, Serena's not here. Let's talk about Maria Sharapova coming back. Somebody's got to sell some tickets.
Then clearly the quality of you're disrespecting every single woman. Each and every woman who worked hard and who didn't dope, who abided by the rules, who read their bloody emails. Fill out the form and told the truth.
Listen, the truth is, though, they know what sells.
We ain't doing it right. Yep. We can't promote you.
Well, they know what sells. They know what sells.
So yeah, let's talk about
me. Miss me on that bullshit train, ladies. Miss me on that.
So Janina, I saw that you said you had a lot of things to say. Was it about the men's or was it about this subpar final?
Oh God, you know,
I'm just
so Kuznetsova. Why?
Okay, let's go in there. Let's go in though. Let's go in on her because you know you're always harsh when it comes down to it. What the fuck happened to your girl? What happened? How the hell she gonna let Vesnina come up in here and steal this title when nobody even knows?
She choked. She choked. And you know what? We've seen her choke a million times.
I know.
However, I don't expect her to choke against Vesnina. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Well,
Like,
hold
I
up. I'm just saying, I saw Kuzi got her ass beat by Pavlyuchenkova. So you know what?
But she's had a good, solid start to the year. She played some good matches in this tournament. I mean, that semifinal with Pliskova, that was good. It was good. And I'm not, I don't want to hear, oh, she didn't have any gas left. No, she's fit. She's ready to go. She's healthy. She's uninjured. She's got the tools. She's a good, solid player. Her serve left her at all the wrong times. She's just making these. She fucking choked. And I'm like, girl,
she didn't look like she wanted it. She looked like she was like.
No, she didn't. She didn't.
Whatever.
And it was just stupid.
I mean, like, it was like, even in the second set particularly. I mean, they played tough in the first set, right? It was very high quality, I think, in the first set. In fact, Vesnina lost the set from a let call. The ball kind of like just hit and kind of like flopped over. So she was very much in it. You know what I mean? And Vesnina was right. And then, but to me, Kuzi didn't look like a two-time major champion. She didn't look like she was experienced. It looked like Vesnina was the one with the two-time major champion. She looked like Vesnina should have been like, you know what? I'm going to have a little mental break and I'm going to get my life back together. Vesnina looked like the one who was Kuzi's resume. And it was, again, like I said, the tennis wasn't sustained. And, the quality, there was some quality points there. You know what I mean? And I mean, like, I wanted to be annoyed by Vesnina's haya. I really wanted to, but I couldn't. Because you know what? Had I been watching the martial arts flick, I would have been watching haya, kikia, whatever, all day long. I wouldn't say shit. Good going on, you girl, get your haya. But I know that was the thing that people were like, they can't deal with that with the noise, because I even heard Chrissy they were talking about Kuzi's marathon match with Francis. I know the first thing out of Chris Everett's mouth was noisy. I love the noise.
It's just, I mean, listen, at the end of the day,
stopping that narrative, they're the one feeling that shit.
Kuznetsova was up 4-1 in the second. She had no business losing that match. I mean, it was just stupid. So that's what I'm talking about, Andreen. It was just dumb. Yeah, it was just fucking stupid.
So not a great advertising.
It just wasn't good tennis. Yeah. It was just blah, 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 blah.
Like I said, you know what? Even if, like I said, it's like, you have to imagine it like you're going to a theater and you're like, someone give you a ticket, but like, girl, let's go see this show. And you're like, must die.
Yeah.
Some person come on stage.
I mean,
and
seriously,
then the person blow you away with an amazing performance.
When Kuznetsova lost that second set, I knew she was losing that match. I knew she was.
Yeah,
I knew she was losing that match, because that's classic Kuznetsova. But whatever. But
at least she didn't go down with that breadstick double on a bagel style. You know, like, hey girl, you look like
there were multiple breaks in the third set. I mean, it was just stupid.
But isn't this what everyone loves about the WTA?
No.
How incredibly surprising everything is. You never know where things are gonna land.
Like we said, we all knew Kuzi was gonna lose that match.
After the second.
Not even after the second, in the second set. Because you were just like,
you watched it happen. Yeah.
You are really gonna let sometimes Kuzi has up 40 love and has a nice rhythm going. And for no reason, because he's like, you know what, Vesnina, here's a shot. You want this game? Take it. Like, I mean, I believe Vesnina won what, 5 straight games in the second set.
Stop it! Just stop it.
It was messy. It wasn't cute. And gamble. It was like it was chalk and cheese when the men came on court. It just was.
As far as the men. The match that I really was looking forward to the most didn't happen. Kyrgios and Federer.
Yeah.
I wanted that. And you know what? I didn't even care who won. I just wanted it. I did.
Yeah, I know.
I thought if Federer wins, good on you. If Kyrgios wins, bam, because he is just like kicking ass and taking names when it comes to the top guys. And I like to see it. That's what tennis is supposed to look like when you've got all these old fuckers and a young kid coming up. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is what we've all been saying we're ready for, And then he eats something funky, probably in the new sushi bar that the players begged for and probably cost millions of dollars to, put in place.
No, it did not. It cost them $50 and they charged $1 million in that fucking sushi bar. Corporate America.
Was that what he said?
Was the match that
he probably ate fake sushi. That's what he probably ate.
He didn't say what he ate, as far as I know, but he thought it was something that he ate, and he was just sick and he couldn't play. And he said, "I know that if I'm going out on court against Federer, I have to be in tip-top shape, and I'm not, so I'm not playing." So
okay,
whatever.
So let me tell you. So I was there I was just on the grounds for the Djokovic versus Nick Kyrgios match.
Man,
and can I tell you what was so funny about that? I have watched a match where a top player is in danger of losing. Okay, I have watched that match. I've been on the grounds when that happens, and it is like, can it happen? That's what everybody's looking at. Can it happen?
Right.
With Novak Djokovic, it was special. It was blood in the water. Can it happen? No joke. There were like 3 people outside clapping to make sure Novak won that match. People, and I don't, it has nothing. I won't say anything about hatred or anything like that. But you know what? The thing that everybody says about Nick is the thing that is real, that people resent. He's just fucking compelling. When he was serving and hitting balls, the audience, they just started creeping forward and looking at instead of the big screen. And after he served when he was down like love 30 or something and came back and won that game, the audience was like, "Whew, that's something." They were looking at him with amazement.
They know that they're watching something special.
They were watching something special. And it's like, that's something, whether you hate it or, and I see people say that whether you love it or hate it, fuck that shit. I love it. So I'm all about it. But you can't buy that. You can't teach that. That's just something that a person brings to the table. Well, they just do. That was it. And they were watching him and they just wanted him to
But you know what was great about that? You know what was really great about that match is it was good tennis.
Yes, it was.
Novak, I think, had a couple mental lapses. I felt like, but I don't feel like he played poorly. And the one thing that I noticed, and I saw it happen over and over and over again in that match, Nick pushed Novak back. Nobody pushes Novak back.
Well, he didn't give Novak the opportunity to do the thing that Novak loves to do, which I saw people complain that Nick gave him junk balls, but you know what Nick did? Gave him no rhythm. Because when you don't give Novak rhythm, he don't know what the fuck to do, because he's like that metronome. He's got to go.
Which is exactly why he struggles against Federer at times.
And if you're successful, especially in like a best of 3, because eventually, you know what I mean? You can take it, which is why, let's come back full circle, poor Monfils's attempts at breaking Novak rhythm was not a bad thing, John McEnroe. You've got to change it up against him. Which is what
Monfils said, the same exact thing. Exactly. You just have to. But I mean, I just want to say, we're talking about these compelling matches, and I want to say something. WTA, here's why you were kind of dead in the water this tournament particularly. Off with a bang. The number 1 player and the classic Pospisil. So I mean, like, you want to have that kind of like, and they of debt. You had all.
We lost you. Repeat what you said. We lost you.
No. I was saying that
we lost what you were saying. So say it again.
Oh, I was saying that there was one of the reasons why the WTA couldn't compete with the ATP at this tournament was that the ATP had far more compelling matches.
Yes.
and slated, and which were guaranteed, and plus it started off with a bang. When the tournament, when the big stars actually showed up, Andy Murray lost in the second round.
Yeah, that was pretty big.
Still,
yeah, it started right there.
Well, and and we had Federer in this quarter of death.
Exactly. And everybody showed that Andy Murray was gonna run up into the finals. They're just like,
he's got the easy path because everybody's sitting right here, and they're all gonna meet here, here, and here, and it just didn't happen, which is always fun. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes it is.
But quality matches, not quite. You will guaranteed blockbuster matches, I should say, not quality, because you had Nole versus Del Potro. I mean, that was insane. And since you could kind of like guarantee, like Federer and Divadal getting through the first couple of rounds, they will guarantee to meet in the round of 16. You know what I mean? So, and then
there was just
so much going on.
Tell me that anybody thought Roger was going to come out there and kick Rafa's ass like he did. You're lying. You didn't expect that. I didn't expect it.
I certainly didn't.
I'm thinking you got your win at the Australian Open. Rafa's about to come out here and wear your old ass down.
And you know what? Let me tell you what I thought.
And Federer kicked his ass.
Give a shout out to some of the Divadal fans out there. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to hold my Twitter head up high and talk to Bree the next day? She's going to be like, oh, real? The old boy with the new.
You know what's interesting? But Jim Courier brought up.
Was ready.
Jim Courier brought up a few times. It's something I hadn't really thought about. I don't give it too much thought in general. But since Federer has changed his racket, he's 3-2.
Yeah.
Or 3, or 1. 3-1. I don't remember now. Now that I want to tell you what the stat is, but whatever. He's got a winning head-to-head against Rafa, and he's like, it's given him that bigger sweet spot, blah, 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 blah. And I never thought about it. And I'm just like,
well, that's what Federer said. And then, you know what? And let's be honest. Listen, people forget this, but one of the things that has always happened in Federer's career, and he said it at the Australian Open, is Federer was always meeting Rafa every week.
Yeah.
Every week. He because Federer played every week. Right. Rafa would be on unintentional breaks for his health or for whatever. But one of the things that I've been observing, I think, is that when you actually, whether you are intentionally or unintentionally off the tour, it's actually good for you.
Yeah.
Because you have time to rest your body and you have time to work on aspects of your game. There's not enough of an off season for you to even change anything up. Because we saw that when Federer was trying to adjust to his racket.
Yeah.
Right? Like people are adjusting on the fly. And one of the things that I think has helped, and of course it was a smart decision by Fed, was to take some time off because now it's given him more legs. But during that time that he was off, I'm sure he was thinking about his game, talking about his game, strategizing about his game, all the things, which is exactly what happened to Rafa.
Looking at match tape, etc., etc.
And that's exactly what happened to Rafa when he took some time out of the game and then he came back and had that very competitive final against Novak in the Australian Open. That's not something that would have happened to him if he had just kept getting his ass handed to him by Novak. Sometimes you've got to take a break, work on some aspects of your game, rethink things, and come back feeling somewhat refreshed. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so surprised Federer's winning. Why are you surprised? He didn't play last year.
But also he's good. But what did we say on our podcast? Even when he was playing, people forget Federer was top 2.
Right.
So it's not like when he went away with his ranking in the dumps. He was a top 2 player when he left the game. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like he was like,
I have decided on my own, and, I'm going to talk to Roger about this. I'm going to call him tomorrow. And we're going to talk about him playing every other year so that he can elongate his career. Because, if he could take a year off and come back and play like this, shit, let's do it. He can play until he's 45.
You know what? Y'all are talking about rackets and whatnot, but for me, watching that match, some very technical things that Roger was doing quite differently. I think I told you, I thought Roger was giving himself more time on the backhand.
Sure.
Up a little bit instead of like jumping on top of the ball to get it early. And that's where Rafa was winning, because Rafa, Federer can be stubborn as a Leo, like, I'm gonna try to beat you from the back of the court, no matter what. And he's not winning those rallies with Rafa. So he was giving, and he said his father told him, hit out on the backhand, and Federer was hitting out on the backhand. It's no longer, it's back to being that offensive shot that it was in 2006. It's no longer that, let me just slice you and dice you to death and try to just get into the point and whatever the case. I mean, he was definitely looking to be far more aggressive on the backhand. And
I do think the racket helps. I mean, not to, because remember,
right. I mean,
what do we know about Federer and rackets? Shank a lot. So he has been shanking less, you know what I mean? So, but it's good to see that. It's good to see that change is paying off for him. I think that's helpful, because I think that's one of the things Pete Sampras said, that if he had stayed in the game longer, he should have been willing. He would have liked it if he had been willing to change, and he wasn't willing to change as much as Federer has been, which I think is helpful. And it's also helpful to me because Federer winning this Indian Wells means that his ass is damn sure going to be at World Tour Finals. He doesn't have to do anything else for the rest of the year if he don't want
Not
to.
a damn thing.
So that's what I need, because listen, and it's not just about Federer, but you know what? I will say that when Federer is there is a +2 energy. He excites people. He excites the other players, and there's a definite different energy when he's in the room. I'm hoping there'll be some new blood there as well, but I'm just saying, he's one of the whole what I'm excited
about success, not just from a fan point of view, but that I'm hoping that younger players can watch Fred and be like, you need variety to your game. It can work and it can be successful.
Which is why it's always helpful when it's successful, because then it doesn't, it really supports that argument, because that's always the thing. People are always like, why have a single-handed backhand? Why try to do all this other shit?
Why try to get to the net? Why to, because you know what? And you know what was excited about that men's final? We can go back and talk about Fat Jack Sock. But what was excited about that men's finals for me was that Stanley and Federer were putting on a clinic. There was some beautiful shots. There was so much variety, and it was like two players who kind of looked the same but not the same,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that the X's and O's were very much, because we know Stanley could hit Federer off the court, and Federer knew that.
Yeah,
and Federer knew that, and he was very cautious about. He
didn't let himself get in those damn points.
And Federer knew that he rushed up to the net in anything but a wonderful approaching shot. Stanley was going to pass him, and there was some passing shot with just like, Stanley, where the fuck did you pull that out of? And it just looked so easy and effortlessly from Stanley. It was some, I mean, like, it was just like 3-pole games.
It was good tennis.
3-pole games.
You know what?
Basically crying.
How much?
Like 2-pole games. 3
How
actually.
Much did you love? How much did you just love Stan calling Federer an asshole?
I like the fact that he was able to get it in there. He's finally happy to say that out loud.
Oh my God. I was like,
for so long.
What I'm waiting for is Merker's comeback, because you know he's gonna be spilling secrets on the sideline.
Listen,
Stanley,
Merker ain't gonna say nothing. He's not gonna say nothing.
I mean, let's put these finals aside for a little bit.
Who else could call Federer an asshole and get away with it?
Only that guy.
Only.
It's true. When you're a friend, when you're a good dude, you can do that.
Yeah.
And Federer always having douchey friends,
Well, listen.
But let's put the finals aside. There were some really interesting results on the men's side. I mean, Pablo Busta Corena.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Right?
I mean,
I'm surprised he was the one who took advantage of that top half. Like,
I know. Listen. Once Andy Murray was,
I wouldn't have picked that out of a lineup.
Once Andy Murray left, somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to do it, and good on him. He played really good. I mean, I was happy for him.
He didn't come out. You know what was surprising in this final against Stanley? Acted like he belonged. Like he was.
He still can't crack that top 10 win, though. Poor guy.
You know, supposedly he is the person that the Spaniards were putting a lot of hopes on, which I didn't even really think about.
Well,
but yeah,
speaking of putting hopes on
He played
Spaniards,
a lot.
what the fuck is going on with Lopez? Motherfucker can't win a singles match to save his life this year.
I know. Too much sexing on the side.
You know what? Apparently not.
Lopez is coming out with
his wifey said he
Lord.
didn't want to give me none.
right.
You know what?
I mean,
maybe,
like, look.
Maybe just a little bit
Something.
distraction.
I think it's the
trying to say something.
The beard is weighing him down. Fifi, get rid of the beard.
Whichever beard you mean. You're a mess.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm about to say, Fifi, give yourself more room. That closet is too confining. You're feeling being claustrophobic.
Because your wife done
get out, girl.
Well, there was also
God,
there was also some surprising losses. Like I think Sangha, after playing so well indoors, and really
he got 2 titles this year. Hello, where'd you go?
Like, his venture to North America was like pointless, right? Because now he's gone back home because his girlfriend's having a baby. So it's like he came to Indian Wells, got beaten, and then left because I wonder
if he was like distracted about fatherhood.
This is why I don't understand the French boy. Sangha, you could have get more publicity by staying home.
Yeah,
more
really.
publicity by staying home. Staying home for my baby. Then we just show up, lost like a fucking chump, and go back home and then tell
Fabio. Like you think about it, like he kept getting break points. He got up on the break. He got broken early, came back, and then just couldn't seem to get it done. And then also Monfils played the most. Listen, you know I'm not a Dominique Thiem fan, so for me to watch Dominique Thiem hand Monfils' ass, I could not bear it.
French boys need a good Judy. We need to get these French boys into a room and have some kind of sit down. We need to stage an intervention, not just for Monfils, Andreen's sake, but I mean, just goddamn.
Well, Monfils now has admitted that he has an injury, which is a legitimate one, I guess, and so he's going to be.
Monfils, when do you never not have an injury, girl?
Listen. We have one conversation we haven't even hit yet. Explain this to me. Why did Jock beat Kei Nishikori? How did Kei let that happen? You don't come back from that.
Well, can we talk about the fact that Jock is fat? Can we just put that out there?
Oh my god!
And I mean,
we're not gonna body shame the boys. If we can't body shame the girls, we're not going to body shame the boys.
Oh yes, we can. And I say this with a caveat, okay? Like, yes, I'm not about it, but you know what? Reels is fair, okay? I'm a hater. I hate judiciously, and I gotta say, his booty is looking really cute. I ain't gonna lie. There is that nice, plump, jiggle, muscular. It's looking cute, but unfortunately,
he's a butterface.
What does that have to do with his? What about
no amount of alcohol? Look, I'm just saying that with the extra meat on his bone, if we're at the club, that's okay.
I asked you why Kei Nishikori lost, and you go into an explanation about Jack's booty.
You see, we're not letting Reels have his say. First and foremost, Jock shouldn't have even been anywhere near Nishikori because he should have lost the fucking match before.
Well, Nishikori showed us why you never get on a bus with Nishikori.
That's who it was. Don't blame
why
Nishikori.
Jack Stock won.
Oh my god,
he can't be trusted. You know, I'm so done with him.
No, I'm not even getting to Nishikori yet. My problem is with why fucking Jack Stock beat Grigor Dimitrov. Nishikori, his body breakdown. We know that body is made of glass. Right? We know that, Nishikori is just a bag of ice.
And you know what? Grigor was pissed. And he should have been pissed. Because, motherfucker, you should have won that match. You should have won.
Grigor out there trying to be cute for the fans, probably see some booty, a girl or whatever in the crowd.
All of Jack's matches, Jack should have lost. Like Jack was struggle tennising to a win every time.
Exactly.
You know who played great against Jack? By the way, can I tell you 2 people I've fallen for seeing them live? I've seen them on TV, but seeing them live. Jaziri plays beautiful tennis live. Like, so much variety, off-pace ball, charging the net, beautiful slices, Malik Jaziri, and Yoshito Nishioka. Yoshito Nishioka should have totally won that match from Stan. Completely. He served, and that's what I said. He served for it twice.
He choked.
He choked. But you know what? He is a dynamic player. If you guys get to see him live, if he comes to Cincy, Janina, and he's playing somebody good, go see it. Go. It's like you know when Nishikori is on fire and he's hitting balls from places you don't understand. He's that kind of a player. Like he's a dynamo. Like the court, they started out wanting Stan clearly. But Yoshi won them over. Yes, won them over with heart and like
very much clear. And it was just
amazing shot making. And you know, against Stan and that backhand, it was beautiful to watch live. And the energy on the court was something else. I was sad because I had to go meet someone for dinner, but like I left midway through and I was upset about that. And I was watching it. We were watching it on the screens, and people just kept going. They just kept gasping because he would get to shots you imagine it was over. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what? You are next gen. You got to serve it out when you get it. When you get up a break.
Yeah, exactly. And you had 2 chances, boo boo.
Two. But yeah, I mean.
He just choked. He's totally young. Choked. Hopefully that was a learning experience and he can grow from that.
But yeah, completely, and a really fun personality. Yeah. Really, really dynamic and enjoyable. But you know, a good run for Jack Sock though. A good run for him. I mean, is he now the #1 American?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
To your original question, I think what to answer your question, Andreen, sorry. I think Jack Sock really played these players in terms of like he lulled them into they got caught up in his trap.
I know people make fun of Nishikori for this, but Jack is a complete faker. He is that guy who pretends
they got caught up in the drama. Plus he had the crowd with them.
Yeah. He's totally that player.
Because Jack Sock wasn't necessarily playing compelling tennis.
He was playing Survivor.
But you know what? He allowed those players exactly. He allowed those players to self-destruct and make all these stupid errors and be distracted by what they think he's doing over there. Like, look at this fat fuck over there. Well, he can't beat me. You know, Jack Sock put on weight. Put on weight, people. We don't want. He's an athlete, okay? If Jack Sock were playing a movie, I won't care. He could be Seth Rogen all he wanna be. I just won't buy the movie ticket. But he's a professional athlete, okay? And he needed to be in shape. Okay, he did. If Taylor Towson got her body right, Jack, girl, no excuses. No excuses. But your booty does look fine. But, you know, Federer put that bit to rest. Because I was like, Federer, don't fuck up against Jack.
Listen,
Sock,
I did not. What did I Reels fans, you know what I tweeted? I DM Reels and Janina. I said, Federer better not embarrass us and lose to Jack.
You know what I mean? I don't mind losing to Stan. I don't mind that.
Lose to Stan. You can lose to Kei Nishikori, but don't you don't you dare lose to Jack Sock. Also, you know what? It has nothing even to do with Jack Sock. It was just the insufferable American media would be too much to bear.
Oh my God. Yes, because they were like, oh, Jack, like Patrick McEnroe was trying to tell me Jack Sock got fitter. You can't be talking about bodies. You can't be talking about body. And be look, no, girl. I mean, not about that. But I mean, like on a whole, I mean, I have to say, like again, the ATP had a lot of compelling.
Yeah, you know what? Which I have to say, sometimes it's rare. It's rare because sometimes, like a final on the men's side will be good, but the lead up will be crappy, and on the women's side, the lead up will be great, but the final will suck. I have to say this.
Yeah, the man delivered because you know what? I'm interested in. I saw someone. I didn't even think about this. Like, hey, who in the final of the Indian Wells Championships? The last 2 major winners.
Yeah, that's true. No, I saw that. I was like, wow, that's the U.S. Open champ versus the Australian Open champ.
Australian Open champion. And the
Federer
two hardcore tournament majors.
They should switch. They should switch and win all the slams this year if they could.
Hey, go for it. I'm here for that. I'm
Troll
here
the
for
rest
that.
of the
Federer ain't about standing lifting that Wimbledon cup.
Oh God,
The Federer ain't about that.
Fed will be calling Stan an asshole after that. I'll tell you.
Yeah. But you know,
what else, y'all? What else, y'all? Let's roll.
I mean, I think we basically covered everything else. I mean,
we're not going to deal with Maria. We've dealt with Maria as best as we possibly can as a fan podcast. Real tennis people, you all deal with it. We're handing it off to you.
Exactly. Yes.
Go back and listen to what we said if you need the facts.
I'm over it. Y'all can do what you're going to do. She's messy.
I can't even.
You're messy. I think.
Y'all be messy together.
There was one thing that happened this week, right? Was that Simons wanted to let us know that Maria Sharapova was struggling financially?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. All right. We're going to let that be. So what's coming up for us next, guys? What's coming up?
So what's coming up? We have been asked.
Well, Miami is coming up.
Miami. Everybody's like, it's time. I know it's coming. When's the top
out Miami? Welcome to Miami.
Miami.
Get
Sizzle.
your list together.
Okay. Yeah. What do we have to do? Tell us, Mommy. What do we have to do, Janina?
For our traditional Miami Sizzle podcast, you have to compile a list of your top 6 men. We're only talking, you know what? Fuck the tennis. It's all about the men. We don't care about the tennis.
The scrubs.
Who looks good? Who's fuckable? Who looks like they might take
looks good
before they dump you at the side of the street?
Exactly.
Hey.
Basically, it's marry, fuck, kill times 2.
Oh my God, that's what we're doing.
And for the first time. Because hey, let's guys, this is our 3rd one.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
How exciting is that?
That's good.
People obviously like it because they're like, when's it coming? But for the first time, I think it'll be the first time. It's gonna be live. So instead of having to, I like what you said. No, you could get in on the action.
Yep.
You can diss our own picks, and we're gonna diss your picks, and we're gonna challenge you to draws. And then we're all gonna play fuck kill on certain rounds.
Despite this being, an anti-LGBT community administration, boys, you are welcome to play. You can go in any bathroom with girls. So we expect a strong participation from the men.
Straight boys, gay boys, you can pick a boy you like. All right? You can pick a boy you like.
Pick a boy, pick any boy.
Exactly. You can pick 6 boys. 6 men.
We're giving you 6.
And you know what?
This is a Republican administration. They know they ain't
and before we get accused, we do tackle the ladies in Rome.
So back off.
Back off. We get to the ladies in Rome. But for now, Miami is all about the abs, the body. Legs, the lips. Pick whichever part of the body you like.
The hair, the arms, the abs, the ass. I mean, bring it.
Whichever.
The legs, which is what this is what I'm gonna say.
When are we doing it, guys? When are we doing it?
We don't quite know yet.
I'm thinking tentatively on
Friday night. We can do it. Friday night. We can do Friday night. We can make it happen. We'll make it happen for y'all if we can.
9 Eastern, around 9, 8 o'clock.
9 Eastern, right? For you all.
We'll figure it out. We will tweet it out. You will have plenty of notice to cancel your plans. And
you can ogle with us on Friday night. We're going to be ogling.
That's right. Exactly.
And you are allowed to pick a player from any part of the tour, right? Scrubs, anywhere.
Yeah,
Challenger.
Scrubs allowed for the first time. The only time all year. Scrubs allowed. We welcome Scrubs.
Find them.
Stop it. That's a dig. That's a dig at reels, okay?
Listen, totally. You know what? You could go. You could go to the Irving Challenger. You can go to the Irving Challenger draw list and pick your people.
Listen, it is a given that Reels will have someone in his top 6 that no one's ever even fucking heard of.
Exactly.
So go ahead, dig around the challenger.
Love.
Ready. Be ready
you
to
know
learn
what?
about someone new.
And
Pull
be
up,
ready
pull
to
up, pull up,
share.
pull up.
In case we don't know who they are, be ready to share pictures with us. So you can
That's
add us
right.
the
Let's
images
see.
of the person that
It was a
you are
very
into.
good thing that I never picked Fifi Lopez on my list. Because
Shut up.
all right.
All right, she shut you down.
Down
All
the
right, we're wrapping up. We're wrapping
All right,
up.
so join us on Friday.
Yes.
Watch
Friday
our timelines for the exact time.
exact time. Yes.
And I
And
will
we'll
just
see you
say,
then.
just a quick shout out. Thank you very, very much, Maya, for meeting me face to face in Indian Wells and spending a couple hours watching tennis with me. I thoroughly enjoyed your company. You were wonderful. And as always, if you are at a tennis tournament and you're a fan and you're a listener, and please, let me know if you're going to be there. I'm going to be at the U.S. Open. Janine is going to be in Cincy. Reels is also going to be at the U.S. Open, but he's like mystical. So
Good luck meeting him.
Where he will flout from.
Probably I might be in the full season somewhere with one of the players. Hey.
Oh God! Oh, fun! And let us, let us know if you're going to Miami, because we also want to find out from you if you will.
Yes.
If you're also willing to come on our podcast and tell us what the experience is like in Miami. We'd love it.
That's right.
Especially if you and Miami.
Yeah, what Reels said that was all.
Really?
Yeah. What did you say? Say it again. We missed it.
Oh, I said especially if you are rich enough to have gone to Indian Wells and able to go to Miami. We would love to hear what the experience compare the two this year in particular.
Yes.
And Miami has suffered a blow already. They've lost Andy Murray. They have lost Novak Djokovic, and
It's
Serena
not a
will
blow.
not be
It's
showing.
fine. Serena might be a blow.
I think the loss of Serena is a blow for Miami because she's pretty regular there.
Yeah.
Murray and Joker, you know what? They're preparing for the clay. Djokovic is thinking about Roland Garros. That's the only reason why Djokovic is like, fuck this shit. And Andy Murray's like, I got to defend Wimbledon. So everyone's thinking about the future.
Okay.
And actually, and also what they're probably thinking about, a ref has done Federer good. So hey, maybe I need to rest my body.
Pull out of Miami Fed.
Listen,
Get ready for the clay.
They all follow the leader, whichever
That's right.
turns out to be leader at the moment, which is anyone who's winning a slam.
That's right.
Except for
all
Stan.
right. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Because following Stan might get you in jail.
And on the wrong side of the bed. Okay.
Exactly. And some people respect their votes. Well, okay.
Bye.
Anyway, thank you, folks. And thanks to all the new followers. And don't forget to comment below and share us. And if you're going to steal our ideas, if you can't give us a check, please. Okay. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.